to my vlog today. Today we'll be discussing public discourse ethics and the good of public accountability that public discourse ethics are supposed to help protect. We'll be talking about the definition of it, the benefits of having public accountability protected in the public arena in communication, some analogies, some counter-ethical or unethical behavior in relation to public accountability, and the opportunities it presents, and then a clip from the HBO show Newsroom, where Jeff Daniels' character, who's an aspiring politician, is interacting in a public debate. We get an opportunity to see the different aspects of communication in the public arena and public accountability. So public accountability is meant to facilitate decision making by those who participate. It makes possible our following of public reasoning, and it gives shape to a given behavior or idea. And this is done through providing a roadmap, a trail, a set of clear steps, and by protecting diversity in the public arena when it comes to communication. So as we engage with our society and we learn from those around us and we hear different perspectives and ideas and things we may learn in school, we have an opportunity to pick and choose based on the level of information presented, the type of the position we're going to take on a given issue, and ultimately the set of narratives that we're going to choose to follow throughout our life. Public accountability is the offering that the public space provides that gives us a chance to navigate that process. And whether it's through public schools, whether it's through socially acceptable forms of communication, etc., it should help somebody as they grow become an effective member and participant in the public arena of communication. One of the main points is that it's supposed to present a diverse set of ideas, that it's not a homogeneous set of ideas, but a diverse set of ideas that may challenge our assumptions and beliefs throughout our lifetime. The benefit is that it gives us a place where we can decide, whereas we're exposed to different things that go beyond our parents or those who raise us or our close community that we find in our private lives. We get an opportunity to have our, like I said, assumptions challenged and kind of have our eyes opened up. It allows those who participate to be open to change, that as you're given new ideas and a different way of living, that you may start adopting those things, those different positions. And it also offers clarity of rationale for maintaining or changing a given position. We're not talking about unsubstantiated positions or decisions or narratives, but we're talking about positions that are backed by a given amount of time researching and experience the information that goes into a chosen position. Some analogies include things like libraries. Libraries offer books to read, but don't dictate the books you should read. They give you a wide variety of books to read, and they protect the good of books and of reading in general. And then one can go in and choose the topics that interest them and become educated. Another example given in the textbook is that of encouraging parents that encourage their children to play a sport or learn an instrument, but don't tell them what sport or instrument to play. And then another example is universities. A university provides many majors and disciplines, academic disciplines that a student can choose, but it doesn't tell the student what is the best choice for the student. It gives the opportunity to the student to pick and be informed along the way. Unethical behavior in the public arena is twofold. The first one is refusing to permit ideas contrary to one's own to enter the public domain. The idea that in a public space, somebody would use their resources or power to squash another person's ideas or voice or another group of people's ideas or voices is counter to the public discourse ethic and the good of public accountability. It actually destroys public accountability. It ruins it. So if you consider book banning, that has happened throughout U.S. history, if you consider McCarthy witch hunts and communism, if you consider utopian societies and their desire to have everybody think the same way in an extreme example, think of the concept of freedom of speech, that in our Constitution, we have the freedom to express ourselves without repercussions from the government. And that is one aspect of public accountability that it is actually legislated in the United States. The other unethical behavior would be refusing to make a decision after grappling with complex ideas. That after one has had the opportunity to see different positions, experience them, to refuse to take a stance, a conviction, or a path is also considered unethical in the public arena when it comes to public discourse and public accountability. In the public arena, decisions are not final. We have an opportunity to take a set of data, of information, points and counterpoints, make that decision after grappling with those points, and then over time experimenting with it. We're able to put those decisions on probation indefinitely, and we can decide over time if a position or a narrative works for us. And if it doesn't, we have the opportunity to continue to learn through public discourse how that may change over time. And you can see that throughout the history of the United States, the sets of values that have come and gone. If you look around the world, there are different approaches to this. I remember when I was in Argentina, I was living there, the United States had invaded Iraq. And I didn't know a lot about it because I'd been in Argentina for a while. And one of the guys I was working with was telling me that the United States only wanted the oil that Iraq had to offer. And I didn't know, I wasn't informed on it, so I couldn't say. But he told me ultimately, he's like, if someone wanted to invade Argentina, I really wouldn't fight them as long as I can keep watching soccer, football, and enjoy my teams. I don't really care. And I found that to be shocking. The fact that he wouldn't take a conviction over his country, the concept of freedom, that he didn't care one way or the other who was leading him. He just didn't see it as a threat. And that was kind of the opposite of how I've been raised as a patriotic, country-loving American. Though I do understand not everybody in the United States adopts the same values. I just found that it is more common in the U.S. to be a little more patriotic politically as opposed to over a game of soccer. This clip in HBO's The Newsroom, we have, as I mentioned before, Jeff Daniels' character. He's an aspiring politician and he's in a public debate at a university, and it's an audience full of students, and he and the other members of the panel are being asked various questions, and you see Jeff Daniels' character having a hard time committing to a certain answer, I would say questioning tack and answering. And you'll see him go through this struggle of having to commit and the ways that he challenges some of the ideas that are being presented in this public forum. And you can see how the students that are being exposed to this position, you can see the looks on their faces and how they're taking it in. I find it to be fascinating. So here we go.
My name's Stephen. I'm a junior, and my question's for Will McAvoy. Do you consider yourself a Democrat, a Republican, or independent?
I consider myself a New York Jets fan, Stephen. Since it's been brought up, you've almost religiously avoided stating or even implying a political allegiance. Is that because, as a news anchor, you feel the integrity of your broadcast would be compromised?
That sounds like a good answer. I'll take it.
There was a short piece on Vanity Fair's website by Marshall Westbrook. You probably saw it, where he calls you the Jay Leno of news anchors. You're popular because you don't bother anyone.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Jealous of the size of Jay's audience.
Are you willing to say here tonight whether you lean right or left?
I voted for candidates run by both major parties.
Is trying to push Jeff Daniels' character to commit, that it's kind of awkward, it's uncomfortable, and it's not really contributing to the public arena. He's not committing. So now he'll move on. He'll start engaging with the audience more, and we'll see what happens.
Let's move on to the next question. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a sophomore, and this is for all three of you. Can you say in one sentence or less what, you know what I mean? Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
Diversity and opportunity.
Lewis?
Freedom and freedom. So let's keep it that way.
Will?
The New York Jets.
So once again, his unwillingness to contribute to the dialogue and the use of humor to deflect doesn't actually contribute to the process. And we'll see the moderator starts to push him on it and press him to make a decision.
No, I'm going to hold you to an answer on that. What makes America the greatest country in the world?
Well, Lewis and Sharon said it. Diversity and opportunity and freedom and freedom.
I'm not letting you go back to the airport without answering the question.
Well, our Constitution is a masterpiece. James Madison was a genius. The Declaration of Independence is, for me, the single greatest piece of American writing. You don't look satisfied.
One's a set of laws and the other's a declaration of war. I want a human moment from you. What about the people? Why is
It's not
America
the greatest country in the world, Professor. That's my answer.
So he presents a diverse
You're
idea.
saying yes. Let's talk about, fine. Sharon, the NEA is a loser. Yeah, it accounts for a penny out of her paycheck, but he gets to hit you with it anytime he wants. It doesn't cost money. It costs votes. It costs airtime and column inches. You know why people don't like liberals? Because they lose. If liberals are so fucking smart, how come they lose so goddamn always? Hey, and with a straight face, you're going to tell students that America is so star-spangled awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom? Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain, Australia, Belgium has freedom. So 207 sovereign states in the world, like 180 of them have freedom.
All right.
And yeah, you, sorority girl, just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day, there's some things you should know. And one of them is, there is absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science, 49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number 4 in exports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. Now, none of this is the fault of a 20-year-old college student, but you nonetheless are, without a doubt, a member of the worst generation ever. So when you ask what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite?
Now he expresses why he thinks that way.
Sure used to be. We stood up for what was right. We fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not poor people. We sacrificed. We cared about our neighbors. We put our money where our mouths were, and we never beat our chest. We built great big things, made ungodly technological advances, explored the universe, cured diseases, and we cultivated the world's greatest artists and the world's greatest economy.
Was how he took the opportunity to finally take a position and present himself in a way to where the audience could learn from him, learn a new diverse idea. And I would say this was a very good example of public accountability in the public arena through the ethics of public discourse.